Hey guys, Luton here, and so this is a little follow-on from the last video, and it wouldn't matter anyway because I can't post any new Hardline stuff yet because it's not out yet, and while some of the guys are posting Xbox stuff, we can't post anything from the PC side yet. Also this week, this just fits in with my kind of general theme of where I was going with stuff, and this is a good place to actually have this video before I get into other things. So, what am I talking about today? Well, clean slate. What am I talking about there? First of all, I want to say a big thanks to all of you guys for giving such really awesome feedback on the last video. I had a massive amount of comments on that last video, and it just goes to show what a really fantastic subscriber base I have. I read them all, and there was so many fantastic comments, too many to pick out individually, but overall there was many times I was just reading what people were saying, and I was just like, damn, that's a good comment. I just kept thinking, good comment, really excellent feedback. One thing I would say is that a lot of the feedback on that video was people saying things along the lines of just play what you want to play and you will enjoy the game, and then people will like you for enjoying the game. I'm not going to say like I don't appreciate that sentiment, guys, but what I will say is try to keep this in mind, alright? As someone who has done YouTube for a long time and speaks to a lot of other producers regularly, that is a great sentiment to give to someone. Play what you enjoy. It's a good feeling to have that. However, it's a little idealistic. Just playing purely what you enjoy, and it's like saying, play for the fun. It doesn't always, something like this, they don't play out in reality. However, okay, having spent some time to connect that with what other people have been saying, and already what I said on that video itself, and in combination with some things that have gone down for me today. Now basically, you guys are well aware that I have been quite down on some games for a while, and there's many reasons for that. But one of which was I overthink stuff, like I said on that last video, get more and more frustrated, wind myself up, get too bothered by stuff like Easter eggs, and it just kind of like winds me up. And I was speaking to a couple of people this evening, but it's like I said to them, I was like, this Easter egg stuff, like it doesn't really matter. Like, why do I get myself so wound up about it? It doesn't really matter. The couch thing. I made a comment on Twitter saying about the couch thing. I was just like, no words for this face desk. It's true. Like I looked at it, I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But you take like a day to think, like, really is it going to impact your game? Really? I mean, there's other things on other game modes where, again, it's like, if you take it out of context, it seems like a really bothering, stupid thing. But realistically, in most game modes, how is that going to affect you? No, it's not going to affect you. And I think this is, I needed today to like really gain some perspective on a few things. Another thing is that I have become quite acidic on, like, especially Twitter some of the times. I can really like unnecessarily lash out at people, and it's not me. It's not who I am. Like, I'm not like that. And this is the thing, like, my girlfriend said to me, she was like, you got to sort this out, like, because it's not representing you. It's not representing who you are. And I think any of you guys who watch my live streams will know that, like, when I'm talking and I'm live and I'm actually who I am, that's not who I am. It doesn't come across that way, And so I think I actually was trying to sort of break this down and analyze it a little today. And I think the way it is with me is that over time, like I've spoken before, you have to have a tough skin to survive through YouTube and stuff, because people are mean, people are horrible, and it's hard starting out as a YouTuber to deal with all of that. I have had some very vicious things. I'm not saying that to like, oh, poor me, I'm just trying to give you guys some context there of the kind of crap you have to put up with. Now, when people say these kind of things, you're like, yeah, whatever. You just delete it immediately, But it just gives you some idea of the kind of crap that you have to put up with from people. And I think this directly bleeds into a kind of changing character for me, especially on Twitter and stuff like this, where, like, I went from sort of perceiving everyone as somebody who wanted to get on board and be with me, to things potentially being like an attack. Everything's an attack. And I see this sometimes in the comments, like, people say something and I'll be like, what the hell, man, blah blah blah, and they're like, what? They're like, no, I didn't mean it like that. And it's like, oh, you were being actually genuine, so I went from sort of kind of trusting and believing in everybody to just seeing everything negative. And that's the same way with the games as well. You guys will remember back in Battlefield 4 that in Battlefield 4 I, at the release, was really, really positive about it, and I tried to be like, yeah, look, you know, they're trying to do this, and they're trying, you know, because I was very excited for Battlefield 4. I thought it was going to be awesome, and you know, it still was. Like, remember, I actually had a really good time with Battlefield 4. It was just everybody else seemed to have a bad time, and I was like, what's the problem with this? In many ways, right, I still did have a, like, I never seemed to suffer these unbearable problems that everybody else was suffering, right? And it's funny because from that to where we are now is like polar. You know, I overthrew Battlefield 4, and through, again, some of the feedback, but also just myself, it changed, it turned around, and not in a good way. And I think today, like, I looked at that and I was like, where am I going with this? Like, I just found, like, all the time I'm just thinking, don't have any interest in this, I'm pissed off, I feel unhappy. Like, my perceptions and how I'm sort of projecting those is constantly having a negative effect on how I'm feeling about the game and other games. It's demoralizing me. It's not making me want to make content. It's making me angry and frustrated with other people. It's just all negative all the time, and it kind of breeds on itself and, like, you know, propagates, and it just kind of gets worse and worse and worse. And eventually, like today, I was just like, you know what, enough, like, I've had enough. No, go, you know, I just needed to, like, clear my head and be like, this, I need to get back to being me. I need to get back to being who I am and not letting other things dictate my mood, because it's totally out of proportion to who I actually am in real life, you know, and I need to kind of get that back in the gear. So with that in mind, I made some peace with a few people today as well. Anybody on Twitter saw, me and Westy had a little sort of headbang, and then we sorted it out. So that's cool. You know, it's always good to clear the air with people, and you know, because at the end of the day, we're all just, you know, we're all just guys trying to do stuff, and you know, you get on with it, don't you? So there was that. And then that, in combination with all the other things that I was thinking of already, really let me sort of just be like, okay, now I know where I'm going. Now I see what I'm doing. And when I got back home tonight, I started sort of going back through and looking at videos that I made during Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And I was looking back at stuff that I made and thinking like, hey, yeah, you know, this was actually a really good idea. So that, in combination with some of the other things that are coming along, I have decided certain series and types of video that I want to bring back to the channel. And I think this is going to be really positive, because through the last week I've been trying to really sort of redefine like what it is I want to do. I think one of the things that I found most frustrating is not really knowing like which content, where do I want to go, and you know, I don't want to replicate other people. Like, nobody wants to do that, you know. Why would you want to do that? You want to do your own content. So I have tried to look at, again, a lot of your feedback as to kind of things that why you subscribe to me in the first place and what it is that people watch me for. Now, a lot of that stuff is kind of the objective, critical gameplay. I try to always give you my honest opinions about whatever it is that I'm doing. And so here's a few things that I want to come back in. So Roundtable, a lot of people have been talking about for the longest time. Roundtable is a difficult series for me to do because it requires organization of multiple people, trying to get them all on together, and then it's a huge amount of editing because it's usually like an hour, whatever. And you think, oh well, you couldn't need to edit that much. And it's like, well, if you want it to sound professional and yet you want it to be kind of, you know, easy to listen to, you do actually have to go in and edit and cut and change a few things around, and maybe like someone talks for like 15 minutes on something where it really didn't need to be that long, usually me. It's worthwhile cutting those bits, so that takes some time to edit, but Roundtable will come back. I also wanted to bring back my Tactical Board. Tactical Board was a series where basically I show some like gameplay, and then I show like a top-down view of the map, and I actually include, like, I draw physically onto it and I explain the tactics of what's happening there, and I explain the situation, and it provides you like a live visual method of seeing what has actually happened in that situation. And again, I actually showed this to a few guys tonight who had never seen it before, and they're like, wow, I've never seen anybody else do that. That's actually an incredibly helpful thing. So that also is a really positive thing that I want to bring back in. Still going to carry on doing everything else that I normally do, so like overviews of maps and stuff, looking at different situations, live commentaries based off of the maps, where I'm sort of like breaking down like, okay, here's this good interesting game, this is what happened. Battlefield Thought for the Day, I don't know exactly how I want to handle that, but it is something I still want to continue to do. I think it'll be very relevant within Battlefield Hardline, where you look at basically snippets of very specific situations, and you go like, okay, here's something that happened and here's what you can take away from it. That was a series that I always felt worked really well, even though the views started to drop off in Battlefield 4, but I think that was down to the game, and that, you know, we heard a lot about it, so I think that we want to bring back. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about today is Patreon. Now, for the longest time I have been trying to sort this out or get something in place, because I've had for ages people asking, how can we donate, how can we support? The other day when we were live streaming City Skylines, I had loads of people there in the chat saying like, why is there no donate button? Well, how can we donate? How can we help you? So finally I managed to get Patreon sorted, and it's basically a website where you can support producers and donate towards them, and often you get little rewards back. Now, I have put in place a few interesting things. You can go check it out there. Here's the link below. Okay, please go and link through it and at least read it. Okay, you can read my page, and it tells you a little bit more about me actually, and why I'm working as a producer, why I'm doing these things to the channel. I also work full time, so none of this stuff is expected. I can support myself. Any of these things on top is really a tip, it's a donation, it's you showing support for me. However, it does enable me to make the choices regarding the content that I put out more valid and more significant. So for example, bringing in a regular podcast series, you know, trying to work out, okay, how can we balance this off against other things? It just sets it in stone a lot more for me, and also it kind of makes it more valid within the context of other things that I could be doing, because I think, as I have explained before now, you know, I work also as a freelance illustrator, so combining these things together, it basically makes it more valid as an option. Like, and I think, okay, so I could actually be producing extra content now for YouTube or for this. It makes it more valid than me thinking, okay, well, I could actually also do an illustration for the same thing. Also, with that in mind, I'm actually going to give you guys the opportunity to basically request illustrations from me through Patreon. So there will be an option down below, and it's priced at what I would normally expect, okay, when in terms of me working as an illustrator. So you can actually go there and request, and I will create an illustration if you so want to do that. As I say, it's an extra thing, it's optional. You can do that if you want to, you don't have to. The base donation amount is there, it's all there on the page. But if you do want to go ahead and make that choice, I will put together a custom piece of art for you, and when I send that through, it won't be a print, it will be the physical literal artwork that you will get in the post when I send it across. There'll be two options available. One will be a small illustration, one will be a larger illustration, but I can do it in a various amount of media. It can be different subjects. When you were to order that through, we would discuss it, and then I will put together that piece of artwork for you. So that's where I'm going with this. I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how that goes forward, and I know that some of you who have been around for the longest time have been requesting to me for ages for this. So I'm very excited for it. I look forward to seeing like how how that goes, the feedback that I get back from it. But more importantly, overall today, what I want to say is that, you know, we're starting Hardline this week, and I really wanted to just, you know, clean the slate. I feel really good. I feel really positive. It's a great feeling to have this kind of weight lifted off my shoulders, because honestly, the last few days I have felt like I've been down in the mud, you know, like dragging my feet through, and I just like feel so lethargic, and I can't decide what I want to do, and I feel pissed off about things. And, you know, having sort of come through the other side of that, I feel so much better for it, and I really look forward to just making content for the channel and getting feedback from you guys, enjoying having some great live streams, supporting Looting Gaming. Looting Gaming is my second YouTube channel, and actually I forgot to mention that actually ties in with the Patreon stuff. Looting Gaming is like my second channel, and it has like a more core, much smaller dedicated audience. And again, if that audience is able to support me through Patreon, it makes the stuff I'm doing over in Looting Gaming more valid. You know, it balances my time. I am very busy working a full-time job, and so trying to balance my time between different things is very, very difficult. If people are supporting me through Patreon in different ways, it gives more weight to that, you know, specific task. More podcasts, more Looting Gaming stuff. You know, I can look and choose how to balance my time accordingly based on the level of support I'm getting from different areas. So it's exciting times. I'm really looking forward to, like I say, going into Hardline, doing more live streams, doing more content, and just getting involved with you guys, getting involved with my community. So thanks very much for watching today, guys. I look forward to reading all of your feedback, all of your comments, and I thank you very much for supporting me all the way through to this point right now. All of your comments on the last video, I really, really appreciate it. So thanks, guys, and a lot more stuff coming out very, very soon indeed from me. And I guess don't forget, Mondays is always a Battlefield live stream, so come and join me for that. It'll be a good one this week. Can't do Hardline because it's not out yet, but it'll be the last, I guess, Battlefield 4 live stream for a little while, so we'll have some good fun there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.